Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/TIFU, or r/Today I Effed Up. TIFU by eating 3 bowls of cereal. This story is ongoing, and I suppose technically starts several years ago. I love crackling oat bran. I would punch a shark for a box of crackling oat bran. I'd kick my brother in the nuts for a box of crackling oat bran. My mom also loves it, so on the occasions it was in the house, it would get devoured by her, and if I was lucky, I might get a bowl. We had plenty of other cereal, that one was hers in particular. As I've gotten older, I sometimes buy myself a box, and between me and my mother, it gets taken down pretty quickly. A week ago, I went to the store and got myself a box because I was craving it big time. I relished in the thought of having it for breakfast in the morning. Except I don't. I sleep in pretty late and then forget to eat while I'm playing computer games. At about 5 in the evening, I realize I'm weak and shaking from low blood sugar, as I'd also forgotten to eat dinner the night before because of work. So obviously, I crack open the box and then proceed to devour 3 bowls of it. I feel much better afterwards and go to bed later happy and content. The thing is, I forgot one minor, crucial detail about my favorite cereal. It's stuffed with fiber. This stuff is like Miralax, but in a delicious cereal form. And I just had 3 large bowls of it. I don't realize my mistake until the next day at work. I got a few minutes warning of pain and gurgling in my gut, and when I got to the toilet, all hell broke loose. It's been a week now. My a-hole burns like the entrance to hell. It won't stop. My intestines have never been cleaner. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I regret nothing. So someone was suggesting that might be like a lactose intolerance. I don't know, maybe they would have noticed it though, like if it happened with other cereals or with other lactose thingamajigs at other times. However, I can highly relate to having serious stomach problems after having something high fiber. So, yikes. That's horrible. It's been a week, dude. Oh no. That's bad. TIFU by not knowing who my date was in a restaurant. Obligatory, this happened a few years ago, but I still can't get over the cringe. 2 years ago, I was living in a huge city and I was employed for someone. I had a very active dating scene to fill the void of not having good friends and being lonely. I dated at least 3 days a week and usually had guys walking to my office. Few of my subordinates have seen these guys and they even tease me and talk about me behind my back. I didn't care at all. With the very active Tinder swiping, it's hard to keep a track on who I'm meeting or how the new date looks like. It was an easy task when they met me at my workplace because there'd only be one person waiting for me. So one day I swipe on someone and we chat for a few days until we decide to meet. He didn't want to come to my office, so we set up to meet in a cafe right next to my workplace. I wrap up my work, pack my bags, and leave. The date was not waiting for me outside. He had went ahead in and found ourselves a spot. He messaged me to come in. I walk in the cafe. I stare. In front of me are 2 tables, with 2 single guys, and they're both staring at me. They look kind of similar, and I'm confused as to who I'm supposed to meet or how his face looks like. I stand by the door staring at the both of them, trying to figure out which one of them is my date. After a while, my date raises his hand, summoning me over. He asks me what happened. What do I say? That I didn't recognize him? After sleazy smiles and awkward conversations, I leave and I never met him again after. Oh, that's embarrassing. I have trouble recognizing people, so I can kind of empathize with that. But it must be kind of awkward to be like, why were you just standing there? Do you not know who I was? Like, oh no. Although I do think it's a little dangerous, in my personal opinion, to have like random dudes from Tinder coming to your office, like your place of work. I just personally wouldn't feel comfortable, but you know, you do you. TIFU by begging a bartender for nothing. So this story happened about a year ago and requires some cultural context. In Ireland, there's been a recent resurgence in the Irish language, and a lot of movement to promote Irish speaking throughout the countries. This resulted in an Irish-speaking bar being opened in Dublin. I didn't grow up in Ireland, so I don't speak a word of Irish, but my best friend was begging me to go with her to this bar. I relented, but told her it was up to her to get me into the bar and order at the bar for us so I didn't get in trouble for not speaking Irish. She agreed happily, and we headed out that night. So we get to the bar, and she tells me when it's our turn to speak to the bouncer, just say "Jiakwich," which means hello, and she'll chat away to distract him. Our plan goes off without a hitch, and we're in. I turn, ready to ask my friend to order me a drink, to find her lost in the eyes of a boy she'd met a few nights previously. Not wanting to get in her way, I just gently shook her shoulder, and we have a conversation that goes as follows. Hey, how do I ask for an orchard thieves in Irish? Orchard thieves le de hoil. I nod and leave her to it, and make my way determinedly to the bar. The barman comes over and says something in Irish I can't understand, so I panic and just shout out my order. Le de hoil. The barman returns a blank look. I take this as him not having understood me, and decide I need to be more clear. Le de hoil. The barman cocks his head and says something that I again don't understand. Now, fully panicking, I decide to just keep repeating myself in different inflections until he gets me. Le de hoil? Le de hoil? Le de hoil? Eventually, the barman interrupts me. Geez, girl, just speak English. What do you want? Just an orchard thieves. The barman walks away, muttering, why didn't you just say so? Embarrassed my friend had put me in this position, I marched up to her and yanked her off the boy who'd she'd been chatting up. What did you tell me to say? I demand. Huh? I told you how to say orchard thieves, please. Yeah, well, clearly the way you say it is wrong because the barman had no idea what I was saying. My friend looks at me suspiciously. What did you say exactly? I said le de hoil. And I said it a bunch of different ways as well, so there's no way I got the pronunciation wrong. Wait, my friend responds. You said just le de hoil? Yeah, I replied indignant. That's what you told me to say. No, I told you to say orchard thieves, le de hoil. Le de hoil means please, you Egypt. And then it dawned on me. Of course, you don't translate orchard thieves. It's a brand name. So that meant that I was just repeating, in varying tones and levels of panic, please, 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 to this poor bartender. I am, indeed, an Egypt. For those of you who actually know how to speak said language, I apologize if I butchered it. I know last time people were very unhappy. Well, one person was very unhappy with how I said Megan in the way that I thought you were supposed to say it because I listened to it a few times and thought I had it down. Apparently I only said it right once. I apologize. So I tried again with this to listen over and over, wrote down the pronunciation on the separate thing and everything. So if I didn't get it, I apologize. I don't speak this language. Anyway, that's amazing. Just like this bartender, like, what do you want? Stop just saying please. Like, what the heck, dude? That is beautiful. TIFU by getting found on Tinder by my wife's cousin. Obligatory, happened last year. Background. My wife and I have been married for 9 years. About 6 years ago, we mutually decided to have an open relationship. For us, this means the occasional, like a few times a year, date or hook up with someone else and no qualms about harmless flirting or what have you. It works well for us and we're very happy. One thing we decided early on was to not share it with either of our families and many of our friends. Her family is wonderful, but many members hold very traditional beliefs about relationships, so we don't want to bother with that whole can of worms. Also relevant, my wife and I live about an hour away from the town that her family lives in. Anyway, I had decided to try my luck on Tinder, mostly out of curiosity, because I get a kick out of r/Tinder. Didn't expect to meet anyone. I made a profile that said I was recently separated with my longtime partner. I hadn't told my wife I had made this yet, but would have eventually. We maintain strong communication about our agreement, but we don't share absolutely every little instance of flirting with each other. I set the location settings on Tinder to only show people 20 miles away or something like that, so I wouldn't show up for anyone in her family. Swiped for a few minutes, checked in a few more times throughout the day, then promptly forgot about it. The next day, I went to a friend's house in the same town my wife's family lives in to play some music, and during a break outside, I remembered Tinder was still on, so I checked. Lo and behold, I had a super like from my wife's cousin. I freaked out, but knew I had to match her and explain. I swiped right, and she was immediately like, what are you doing on here? I had tried to be quick on my feet and told her it was because of some stupid bet I made with some guy friends about who could get the most matches. So I faked a Tinder profile for that night. She was skeptical, so I called my wife and told her what had happened. My wife found this both hilarious, but also terrifying. So I told her that I was going to tell her cousin to call my wife and confirm the story. I then prompted the cousin to call my wife and vouch for me, which she did. My wife reassured her that it was a gag and she knew about it, so thankfully we think everything is fine. Oh, that's gotta be so okay, like seriously, imagine you just like going along and you see, I bet she was like in investigative mode. She was like, excuse me, I'm about to spill all your business. You think you're gonna be cheating on my cousin? Yeah, that's awkward. That's real awkward. Ugh. I don't know. I'd also feel kind of grossed out. It's just the thought of like, even though it was out of curiosity, like, what the heck are you doing on here? I don't know. There's something about matching with your wife's cousin on Tinder that's just really awkward and kind of gross. TIFU by telling my son there was a fictional being called the pecker snatcher who stole his junk if he didn't put it away. So my 4-year-old son liked to dance around naked after baths and while changing him. As cute as he can be, it gets old after a while, and if you've ever had a boy, you know how they can become obsessed with their peckers. I told him one night that if he didn't put it away, the pecker snatcher would come and take it. He looked at me with some disbelief and said I was kidding him. I told him it was the truth, and that is what happened to his sister. His eyes got big, and he put his pants on. Fast forward a couple days, and him and his sister have now elaborated on the story. And the pecker snatcher is now a man who has a basket full of peckers that he carries with him, and other elaborations on the story. All was good and well until he explained the entire mythology they created to their grandparents and teachers. Now I'm the weirdo. Parenting is dumb. TLDR, I created a fictional pecker snatcher so my son would put his pants on, and he and his sister elaborated on it and told other adults. Imagine you get a call from the school like, did you know that, little Johnny is talking about, like, oh my god. This is why it is dangerous, the lies you tell your children to get them to cooperate. Oh my god. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!